halfway into Season 2 of the GAMERNR Sportsman Series, and we'll be ending the first half the same way we started it, at Daytona International Speedway. This is the Alkaline88 250. The last race of the second Florida swing will force drivers to forget everything about short track racing from last weekend and transition into finessing their way through the pack in the draft. The cooler temperatures could lend a hand in creating some different racing than what we saw in the BODYARMOR 300, as well as the fact that these drivers know that we are closing in on the beginning of the end for the season. It's our fourth trip here in total in the Sportsman Series, so we know how this track behaves. Let's jump right into the starting lineup. Hector Garcia scored his second front row start of the season, with his last coming in the form of a second place start at Kansas. To his outside will be defending race winner Kyle Sastrai, who would like to not only become the first driver this season to win twice, but the first driver ever to win back-to-back races. The talk regarding qualifying at super speedways always has to do with how it doesn't matter, and how you can shuffle your way through to the front after being in the back a few laps prior. However, if you look back at the previous two plate races, both of the winners started in the top 6. Lexi Herman won Talladega from the 6th position, and Colin Teague won at this very track early in the season from the pole. Could someone like Lynn Bell, Jay Jefferson, Murder the Fourth, or Cody Goforth score their first this season, or can Teague find himself at the right place at the right time once again to complete the sweep? Green flag is out, we're racing at Daytona. One lap in, and we are already 3 by 3 as Hector Garcia commands this pack of 33 around the high banks of Daytona. Leading Jay Jefferson now in the 48, who takes second, as Garcia goes from top to bottom to block the low lane. They roar down the backstretch for the second time tonight. You see Jefferson there making a move to the inside, but he chose not to. And heading back down into turn number 3, Jefferson almost followed Garcia into the corner, but the 63, Lotus Desperado, was there on the inside with that position. Heading to the line to take lap number 3. As Desperado tries to follow the 31 anywhere she can to try and get the draft. Looking a little bit lower through the corner than Hector Garcia, trying to prime herself to make a move down the backstretch, and that will be what she'll do. Almost a car length until you get the 71 back to the rear bumper to help, and Jefferson already back to the inside. Those are going to be the moves that you'll see drivers trying to make if they get forced out of the inside line late in this race. They'll be finding any way they can to get a hold of the inside and try and recapture a chance at this victory. So now it's Lotus Desperado who leads here at Daytona, and checking around, there looked to be like a little bit of separation, but that just seems to be from natural causes. As sometimes you see that, you think someone had a mechanical failure and put some people a little bit slower, causing a bit of separation in the packs, but that is not the case this time around. Is Jefferson already back to second, now trailing behind Lotus Desperado here on lap number 5. Hector Garcia to the outside of 3 wide with Vargas and Lane Thomas now down low. And these two seem to have pulled away, but not for long. Here comes Jefferson to the inside for the lead. This side by side is going to bring that pack right back to these top two. And they had a good 3 to 4 car length lead over the rest. But you see just how quickly it only took a couple corners for the 45 and 31 to get to the back bumper of the top two. Now Jefferson goes middle. Here comes Lane Thomas down low with help from the defending winner at this racetrack, Colin Teague. Oh, look out. Contact between the 21 and 71, and they're going to go around on the backstretch. It's Aiden Smith, Zachary DeLello, Cody Goforth, it looks like, and they are still wrecking back here. Orman's in it. The 10, Landon Thomas sneaks by. Kirsten Martinez, your points leader, and Cody Goforth hits the 17 one more time. They're wrecking up ahead as well. It's Kiani. DeLello seems to have gotten more damage. At the line, I believe the 45 got it. Yes, he did. And that wreck was brewing for a long time there. They made contact. They forced some people below the double yellow line, including Evan Hunter in the 11, and kept on rubbing down the backstretch until it finally boiled over. So, first caution of the night is a multi-car accident in an unusual place. We'll see how this unfolded in our first crash of the night. So here's how this all starts. You see the 71 try to drift up the track, maybe find his way into the outside line where he can go backwards faster and shuffle back to the front, but then he decides to stay down low, but he's right to the 89's quarter panel. So the 89 unfortunately hooks him down into the 71, or the 21 of Bertrand Brown Jr., and into the 11 as well, and then contact from the 42 spins the 89 downwards. Now that's going to ricochet the 42 back up into the 18, who spins down into the infield as well, nearly avoiding contact with Hunter, and up here they continue wrecking, the 29 seemingly getting up into the 84 Goforth, and just nowhere for some of these guys to go back here. You see Lynn Bell in this one. Kirsten Martinez making a slide through the grass. That's Stapleton in it. But then we got to go back up here where Mathis Wells goes around, as well as the 25. So the two JJ Motorsports drivers who were having a bad season already to this point. Unfortunately, that will continue as DeLello up the track, takes a hit into the outside wall. So no luck at Daytona this season for Zachary DeLello. And I think we're going to have another one coming in here. Or no, it's someone getting hit late back here. We'll get multiple replays of this one here shortly. So we're going to watch this with the camera focus on the 29 of DeLello. Now it unfolds in front of him, but here you're going to see something that we didn't see before. And that's how this wreck continues. The 42 gets into the 29, and DeLello's just still on the wall with the 84. Now the 5 ends up coming back up into the 16, and that collects DeLello again, as well as Mathis Wells. And the 10 picking another excellent avoidance right there. Getting past the 16, gaining a whole lot of track position, and escaping this wreck with no damage, although he does slow up here. Making you wonder if they were about to crash again, but nonetheless, that's another angle right there, and we'll try and get a couple more. We'll be using the aerial footage for some extra clarity on this accident. Up there with Aiden Smith and Christian Vargas, see the 71 get hooked down to the 21. Now the 42 comes back up, and the 29 is pinned into the wall with the 84. 84 more like it, pinned into the wall, but they're pretty much stuck there together. And the 5, bottom of 4 wide in turn number 4, ends up coming back up. I'm not quite sure how the 25 also got collected. Whether he just got loose on the apron coming back up with the transition or what. Some footage from the rear camera of Victor Nunez in the number 18. You'll see it unfold back there, and the near miss with Evan Hunter. Now here's where Cologne comes in. He's down on the apron, but then he comes back up just like the 5, gets into the 69, but doesn't end up turning him. He just heads into the wall himself and made some contact with the 03 of Mathis Wells. See the tail end of the accident here with Lynn Bell and Kirsten Martinez making contact, and it was indeed the number 17 Toyota that ended up getting some extra damage from the 84 of Cody Goforth, and almost with the 28 right there. So the bad season continues for JJ Motorsports' 2 non-owner drivers, as Cologne and Goforth both in this accident. Kirsten Martinez, your points leader, also involved with this one. So this is going to be a prime opportunity for someone like Lane Thomas to try and retake the points lead, especially with Kyler Estrella also being involved, as well as Zachary DeLillo, also in the top 5 in points. Under caution for the first time tonight, a very long wreck down the backstretch at Daytona, starting at the end of turn number 2 and going all the way to the middle of turns 3 and 4. Get you guys back to the restart here once we get things cleaned up and go back racing with a whole lot left in this event. Alright, welcome back to Daytona. We will be restarting on lap number 11. The 3 cars that are out are the 17 of Lynn Bell, the 16 of Nathan Chiani, and the 84 of Cody Goforth. Their top 5 currently are 2 of the drivers who are top 5 in points. 3rd in points is Lane Thomas, and 5th in points is Hector Garcia. They're your top 2 right now. Currently, Christian Vargas in 3rd. 4th is the 02 of Thomas Bellagio, and at the top 5, it is Peter Onjak. McShane, Ormond, Borkington, Teague, and Freeman Jr. Right at the top 10. We're back green at Daytona. And it's interesting to see how the 24 got back up there. I don't know, very interesting situation there. But nonetheless, the 31 is just taking a dive down low for the lead. And it looks like he will not clear yet. The runs on the top, the 02 giving a shove to the 45. But still, the shortest way down the racetrack is the inside, as now the 36 comes to the 31's rescue. These two are teammates, Hector Garcia and Peter Onjak. So we'll see how they operate this race up at the front. Garcia's going to go high. Onjak's going to follow, put himself in the middle. And now Vargas is back down low on the inside with Jefferson behind him. Jefferson now gravitating towards the middle. The 02 of Thomas Bellagio is going to try and follow, but that'll leave room for the 24 of Nathan Ormond to go down low and get second away as his pack charges towards the 31 as it gets formed up. Let Hector Garcia pull away there. He is still kind of gapping the pack as they continue to shuffle around back here. Peter Onjak, with the separation of the pack, has already found his way down to the bottom and into 3rd place. Doge Borkington in the 1, looking for his first career win, was part of the finish that brought Colin Teague to victory lane in the first race here at Daytona this season. And perhaps he'll be trying to get the win himself here tonight, going against a fellow Ford right here. 5 laps until we hit halfway here. Borkington now takes the run to the inside. Now the pack will really try and close in. The 36 on the inside now, back to third already. Right to the bumper of Borkington. We'll see what he does to the inside. He goes down the back. But now to the middle. Interesting move there. You would think after running a few races with the shuffle mechanic, as the 63 gets a little close with the 31's panel right there, that they know how to position themselves in the middle of the race to try and get to the front late. And it's very interesting to see these choices these drivers make that will possibly influence their positioning in the finish. Top three single file, but behind them it is 3x3. First to make a move within the top three is Onjack. Making a move to the inside of Nathan Orman, putting him to the outside. And once again allowing the rest of the pack to close in. But the 24 cut down low. He retains third, as here comes Colin Teague to fourth. Onjack down low. And he got in an accident last race that took him out. And he almost ended up winning that race. Late in the race, he was primed for a spot. He had a position, the track position, to win that race, but an accident late ended up spoiling the dream. But once again, he seems to have a good car here at the high banks of Daytona, and just a complete opposite track type from New Smyrna. So Onjack is very versatile in his driving style. He just doesn't have the luck. We'll see if things go his way tonight. As someone who won Kansas, which is a sort of drafting style racetrack, but not quite to the likes of Daytona, Talladega, and Pensacola, has found herself in the top two around the midpoint of this race. Garcia is still, well, not anymore, in the top three, as Jefferson makes a move to the inside. That puts Garcia to the outside, where Peter Onjack just was, but not anymore. He moves inside. So it'll be Onjato side by side for the fourth position soon enough. But no, the 36 makes a move three wide for third. And track position seems to be a little bit more important tonight, as is usual in Daytona, especially with the Body Armor 300. They've kind of spaced out. And that might be fun for these drivers. You see, oh, the 36 slowing. I don't know by how much. But the cars up here seem to have a big speed difference from Onjack. But that was something drivers didn't really appreciate the first time around, is that a lot of the racing at Daytona is just timing it right. And now that things seem to be a whole lot more spread out in the middle stage of this race, there could be a whole lot more than just where you are in the pack that comes in determining the finishing order of this race. The top three have gapped themselves based off the interval from Teague to fourth place, Lane Thomas, by a second and a little bit more. But we do have lap traffic ahead that The 03 of Mathis Wells heading through 3 and 4. As up front, a battle for second place. Will Jefferson get it this time around? This is his second time trying, but to no avail. And we'll be seeing what the intervals looked like this time around. It was Jefferson that time to slow up just a little bit. And I keep thinking with that, cars are coming down pit road, but that is not the case, as here's the battle for the lead. No help behind him. Empty track in front of him now. Jefferson's going to go to the inside and help the 63, but the 63 moves up high. Now here comes Lane Thomas, 3 wide himself. That'll end up being for the lead into turn number 3. Colin Teague wants to get down low, right where his teammate is, and the pack is back. So the top 3 being separated, that is no longer. As Jefferson now leads this pack that is now 3 by 3 once again. But not all the way to the end like we saw with the Body Armor 300. They were 3 by 3 the entire pack. Even when we had a multi-car accident in the later stages of the race. But coming up on this lap car, this might create a whole lot more separation. And Jefferson knows what to do. He goes high. And the inside line here, there's not much they can do. But just wait it out. Oh, up high goes the 03 there. Blocking Colin Teague. And that put Teague in a precarious situation. And we've got now a battle for the lead between the 1 and the 48. But we do have to go back here and see who goes and who doesn't. 45 got help from the 1. Trying to slingshot himself up to the front. That's the 03. Let's on Jack and Herman to the outside. They can get a big enough run. And he'll go middle. So, that'll be it for the 03 of Mathis Wells in this pack. As it did look like the 45 was going to be able to get to the front. But Borkington now ended up getting the run of the outside. The 45 and the 1 still hooked up. Lane Thomas and Borkington. Bit of an unlikely pair, but still nonetheless, 2 drivers who are very hungry for this win. Lane Thomas will inherit the points lead if he ends up winning this race, no doubt. Let's try and look up ahead a little bit more here. Our next instance of lap traffic is all the way on the backstretch right now, so it'll be close to whether or not we catch them. As now to the inside goes Lane Thomas down low. Jefferson moves in front of Murdo the 4th. Gets a huge run. And pulls to the inside. Jefferson, Murdo the 4th, and Ricky Freeman Jr., the first ones on the bottom. You see that checkup once again on the inside. I don't know, maybe the handling going away a little bit with these cars at this racetrack. It has been quite a long time since it was last repaved. 2011. Maybe these guys have to lift off the gas on the inside line to try and not wash up. Here's Borkington once again, but no help down low. Now the help is going to come with the 45 going to the inside of the 48. That's going to propel both of these two to the top 2. It's almost like these two are in some sort of cahoots. They knew what each other were. They knew what they were going to do, and they enacted it to perfection. That got Lane Thomas out into the lead as we enter the closing stages of this race. Colin Teague making a move 3 wide down low, putting the 1 in the middle, and that will shuffle him back quickly. Here's Jefferson once again trying, but he gets blocked. And that was very aggressive coming out of Lane Thomas. But you gotta do what you gotta do. That was a prime opportunity for the 48 and 99 to make a move, but they did not take it. They'll take it now. To the inside goes Jefferson with Teague behind. They are going to tandem out front. Now Teague goes to the inside of Jefferson. He'll have help from Borkington. Aiden Smith was contending for this race win last season. Could he get redemption here as Borkington goes to the inside of his teammate 3 wide? It'll be 4 to go this time around. Teague back down low. Now back up high. Now back down low again. Following right behind his teammate Borkington. It was the teamwork of this very team, Wheelhouse, that got the win in the Body Armor 300. Teague pushed the 1 to the lead late and went to the inside himself like you're seeing here. But these two both retained a top 5. Could they be cooking something similar in the second race here as the 5 goes high to help the 1? No one's down low with the 99 here. And that might just help with Borkington here. Back up high and back down low. We are seeing a very interesting race here unfold at Daytona with just 3 laps remaining. Something we haven't seen before. Not even since the Body Armor 300 in Season 1 where there were 10 cars in the pack. They had plenty of opportunity to get spread out there, but they just didn't. Now the 5 taking an opportunity to go in. Oh my, they're coming down pit road. This race has come down to fuel mileage here. The 1 and several others could not make it as we take 2 to go. And Teague is probably thinking, oh no, there goes my dancing partner. As he's up high. And unless we see more takers down pit road, likely he will get out of the contention for this race win. Jefferson getting a push from the middle. Could he clear down low? He gets blocked by the 5. As Aiden Martin cuts down low, will we see anyone else pull on in? Aiden Smith in the 89, but no one else. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go at Daytona. Aiden Martin right now, the 1 control of this race, but the 18 moves down low. Nunez, and now Ray. But Martin blocks. Lap traffic up ahead. Will this come into play? It did last season with just 2 laps to go. Now in the white flag lap. We see Aiden Martin leading. Will he be the one to take the checkered flag? Ray moves down low. Through 3 and 4. Ray's got the run on the inside. As he comes to the checkered flag, looks like Roger Ray will pick up win number 2 of the season at Daytona. Aiden Martin tried everything he could to get the lead back, but it did not happen. And Roger Ray picks up his 2nd win of the career and his 2nd win of this season in a very wacky race at Daytona that saw some people run out of fuel, and you hate to see races come down to that. Because the last time that happened, that was Road America in Season 1, but this was not as disastrous. This was not every car. These are some people who played it right. Some people who might have been playing it methodically throughout the middle of the race. We saw those guys checking up. That could be an exclamation for the, the occurrences we saw with the slower speeds heading out of the corner. Roger Ray does come home with this race victory, the first one to 2 wins this season. So with 9 races, 9 different winners, that has come to an end on race 10 as Roger Ray brings home his second of the season. Aiden Martin, oh so close, led at the white, but a very hard-charging Roger Ray dethroned him late in the race. Third place, we have Lynn Thomas in the 10, whose avoidance of those accidents ended up paying off as he takes home a podium finish. And fourth, Ricky Freeman Jr., who has been struggling through the first 7 races and has really picked it up the past few. Benedict Murr IV gets 5th. Victor Nunez, who looked like he could have gotten the win late, ends up 6th. Colin Teague 7th. Jay Jefferson 8th. Lexi Herman 9th. And Skylar Taylor in 10th. So some of these guys in the top 10 we didn't really see much of today. Lexi Herman and Skylar Taylor, they kind of made their way up front, probably by inheriting some track position with that fuel mileage fiasco. Lotus Espirito ends up 11th. The 42 who was in that accident got 12th. Evan Hunter 13th. Will not go back-to-back in the second race at Daytona. And 14th is the 45 of Lane Thomas. All right, the top 15, it is Anthony McClure. As we go back down, 28 cars on the lead lap. We almost lapped Roberto Crown Jr. at the end, but in the end, it is the 04 and 03 both 1 lap down in this race. 2 MW Racing cars end up not on the lead lap, and the 3 retirees we went over earlier in the race. So, yeah, it's something that we haven't seen before at Daytona, racing style-wise. And that could be attributed to a whole lot of factors: the track surface, the fuel mileage, driver behavior, just in general. They got a little bit more cautious after that multi-car accident earlier in the race. But nonetheless, we'll have some unhappy drivers. We'll have some happy drivers. I'm sure they had fun tonight, knowing that their fate in this race was not simply determined by where they were in the pack. As after that first caution, we saw a whole lot of separation, which really can't be talked about enough. It was a whole lot more methodical. You had to make moves where you could find them, and you weren't just carried by the car behind you, the car in front of you, the line you were in. And the inside was definitely the most preferred, but that just wasn't the conveyor belt up to the front that we saw in the Body Armor 300. So a very different racing product this evening at Daytona. And we'll be looking forward to seeing what we get next season at the start, where these factors could be a whole lot more prevalent. So the next race technically is the Atlanta doubleheader, where we'll have 2 Atlanta races, but those are the next 2 points races. The next race on the schedule is the All-Star. So a non-points race that was scheduled at the end of the season last year and is now at the midpoint this year. So that was a very fun race to watch last season, very chaotic. Chicagoland puts on a very good product for the All-Star race for a low field count, and that will be what we get with the All-Star event. But for now, thank you for watching the GAMERNR Sportsman Series. We'll see you next time.